up, chest up. Yeah, now open up your chest. So you're not like this. So if you're here right now, try as much as possible, because eventually the position that we're getting to is here, right? Because you want to turn and rotate, and you want that chest up. So if possible, right, and a little bit of this is comfort, it's not like you're doing something wrong, but if possible, try to have less bend at the waist and more bend in the hips and knees. Does that make sense? So I'd rather have you here if it's comfortable here than here. Does that make sense? Yeah, better. Yeah. Now, instead of kicking back right like this immediately, if you can, with some balance, get down so that your chest is over this front knee. And what I would suggest is just getting a little motion and a little swing. And then on the third, the fourth one, whenever you feel like you're balanced and you're under control and you're ready, after you've got some swing going, then kick back, right? And try to get that front foot past where your second foot is. Good. Good. Much better. But you see how you like caught yourself? Can't sacrifice speed for balance. It's not bad, because this is practice. So that's okay. We're practicing. As long as you recognize, okay, I lost balance, that wasn't great, I can't do that, then you come back and you do it again. But that looked much better than the first thing, whatever it was that you just did in the circle. Does that make sense? Did it feel better?
Yeah, no, I felt better.
Okay, so again, we want to be straight lines. So I want to be right here. If listen, you got 60 seconds. That's an eternity, right? So if you're about to go and you step off to the side, stop. Like, it's just like a golf swing. You know how those guys address the ball on Sunday afternoon and they're about to win $3 million? And then they hear somebody in the crowd go, "You suck!" And they back up. All right, you gotta reset. Where am I going? Okay. It's because you only get three, right? I mean, like, use your three throws. Let it be. That's your time. So if you need to reset, if you kick back and you go, "Whoa," right? Don't think, "Well, I was gonna throw it, so I gotta." No, you don't. Just, hey, chill. It's my 60 seconds. You guys wait, right? The ref will call you in a minute. So let me get set again. Stay nice and balanced. Chest out, back straight, and boom. And then explode and go. All right? Good. Good. Not bad. Not bad. I think there's more speed and explosion in there, and I think you can challenge yourself to be lower. But again, when you start doing it every day, when it's something that you're thinking about doing and challenging yourself to do better, height will change, speed will change. It's about comfort, it's about muscle memory. When your legs are used to doing it, then growth and improvement will come. All right, now do the whole thing as if you had a shot in your hand and you were going to put it out there, but be thinking now, as we get across the circle with speed, it's all about if my back is straight and I'm throwing proud, then my hips are going to lead, okay? My hips got to come through first, and then if I put it all into it, I should see a little rotation. I should get through the circle. Yeah, do the full thing as if you had the shot. So, here's rule number 2, right? Like, yes, you want to be balanced, but at that point, if it all goes to hell, you still got to put the shot, right? Like, that's your throw at that point. So, don't get to this point where you psych yourself out and you have this kickback and you're like, "Oh crap, I'm off balance." Nah, whatever. Like, nope, that's not compete. We're here to compete. So if something goes wrong, it goes wrong, but we're going to put it out there. Does that make sense? So, let's do this thing, all right? As if you had it. I mean, we're putting everything we have, we're exploding out into the sand. Good, good, good. Now, just be careful, and I know you don't have a shot right now, but what you did was as you came through, the speed was good, the balance was good, you got here, and then this thing happened, it always happens to newbies, where you drop right here, drop that elbow. Now, I don't know if that's because you didn't have the shot or not, but have you ever like put the shot and then your elbow hurts, and you're like, what happened here? Okay. Have you ever like thrown it on accident? Okay. All right, so then maybe it was you just didn't have the shot. Because what ends up happening, you can stand over here. Sometimes you get that shot on your neck and it drops down here, right? This is still a legal position to put it from. It just has to be inside the shoulder, right? And above the shoulder. So it's just got to be in this region somewhere so it can come off your neck. The problem is if it does come off your neck too far, you're in danger of doing two things. One is losing alignment, so you're losing power, which means losing distance. Or two, you can end up trying to like throw it out there and you can mess up your elbow or your forearm just because it's not a baseball. So just be careful, make sure that when you come through, you keep it on the net. All right, let's try to block. Stand right here. Again, give your left foot just a little bit of space to kind of like stand and rotate through, because we're not worried about distance now, right? This isn't a time where we're thinking, okay, let's go out and measure. This is where we're thinking, okay, are my hips doing the work here? Okay, so get down low. Again, athletic, bending at the hips and knees, not the waist. We're throwing proud, down on my neck, nice and comfortable. And then two things we want to have happen. We want to thrust our hips up to the point where it like pulls our feet up off the ground, almost like we've got like a waistband on and somebody's like yanking us up into the air. And then two, we want to explode that elbow back, right? So like, if I'm coming to attack you right here, you want to, right here, knock me out. So you open that chest up and the hips at the same time, and we're putting it out there. But don't forget, like, this is not gonna help if my hips don't move, right? I mean, you really have to thrust your hips up and through. So it is a yes, we want to clear out and open up the chest, but that's like a piece of it. Because if all I'm doing is this and not really opening up my hips, they're staying here and stuck, then I guarantee I'm gonna lose 5-6 feet, no problem. Okay? So hips first, arm second. Not bad, but not. Where are you right now? Way back here. Right? So, what does that tell you about how much energy you put going that way? Not as much as you could, right? So, again, if I mean, like, I'm talking like this is it, right? Dude's got a knife, he's about to get you and your family. I know you have more than just, see, you've got to, I mean, part of shot putting discus is about finding a way to channel aggression and adrenaline and that like that fight or flight when it's not time to do that, when there's no logical reason to do it, right? I used to throw a lot better right after I would run the hurdles. If I would go over to throw, because I would be all amped up on the race, and then I would come over here and throw, and it would go way further out. So whatever you've got to do. So it got to the point where I wasn't hurdling. I would run sprints. I would ask my teammates to race me, and then I'd come over here and throw, just so I could get like amped up. Same thing for you. It can't be when you go in the circle. It can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna throw. All right, I threw. See you guys later. Like at some point when you cross this line, it's got to get like a little ugly, right? It's got to get a little aggressive. It's got to, like, everything has to be the most explosive it can be under control. And that goes back to that balance piece. We want to kick back hard. I mean, like, boom, like we got somebody that we need to hit their face back here. Like, aggressive. And then when we thrust those hips, man, it's boom. It's whipping them through. And when we whip that elbow in, I mean, like, it's like real speed, real explosion. So let's block again. Like up here on the toe board, but like when we push it through, like, I mean, I'm talking like real twisted up, just real, come on. Good. And see, you just threw that one further than the other one rolled, right? I mean, you just gave yourself 3 feet, just with a little more, just, knotted up, amped up, right? So, like, part of it is like a mental approach. That's huge. Guess what? Over 3 feet. I got big feet. Like I don't know what you normally throw. What's your normal distance? Okay, 27 to 30 is like not a thing that should happen, right? You shouldn't throw 27 and 30, right? Like that comes down to the same way that I would talk to my runners about preparation. Like if I have a girl that can run a 6-minute mile, she shouldn't have a bad race and run 6:45. Does that make sense? So like part of it is when you go into the circle, your approach is the same every time. Your mentality is the same every time. If you throw 29.8 and then 30 feet 1 inch and then 30 feet 6 inches, all right, you're right there. You shouldn't throw 27.1 and then 30 feet 3 in the same meet. That means that like, something's going on, whether it's technique or approach or both or whatever. All right, let's see the whole thing. Put it together. See what we got here, and then we'll call it a day and do different things at different times. Speed and explosion. Don't think about it. Just do it. Not bad, but stop. Where are you? Back here. Okay.
That's what I had. It's like I don't trust myself so I feel like I'm like, I don't know.
So, all right. Hey, step on the toe board. Did you explode? Did you get murdered? No. It happened, right? What's up? You guys good? Good, yeah. All right. Do you have you have batons with you? Let me take a couple, and then I'll have a couple. You'll have a couple. We'll have plenty.
Don't be afraid to scratch. Just twist right on through. Throw through. You can always back it down. Back away from it, but give yourself that experience to just be like a Tasmanian devil and just spin right through it and see what happens.
So hey, listen, it's the same mentality that we talked about earlier, right? Like I said, you get 3 throws, right? You don't want to waste one, right? By doing something you don't think. But same thing, like at the same time, you got to flip that around and say, I've got 3 throws, right? Like very early in my career, what I used to do was just come out here, get right up here on the toe board. Block one way out there as far as I could. Mark. All right. I got a distance. The next 2, who cares what happens, right? Like, let's go for it. Let's see how far I can go. Because, like, at the end of the day, like we can tell it's just a piece of concrete, right? Like, if you scratch, you scratch. Like, you got 2 more, Like, you've got to demystify the whole thing and not be afraid of it. Once you get in here, this is my ring, it's my circle. I'm under control. I know what I can do. I know what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to go do it. And if I scratch, that's a part of the game, right? You play basketball, you miss a shot, that doesn't mean you're a terrible basketball player. You strike out in baseball, okay, the good ones do it 3 times a game, right? Like, you step on the toe board, it happened. We got 2 more throws. So don't think like, oh, if I get something wrong, that's it for me. It's over. That's the end. Or what? Like, no. There's always going to be another meet. There's always going to be another throw. but there aren't going to be too many opportunities for you to give it everything, right? So like, you might as well leave it all out there, see what happens. Why not you? Why can't you throw further, right? So, one more time. Get in there. Kick back hard, stay low, stay balanced. Explode the hips. Everything that way. Throw it up over that palm tree. Reset. You got all the time in the world. Good. Not bad. Not bad. You over-rotated a little bit, which is fine. These things happen. But not bad. So, two things. If I was coaching you every day and I saw you every day, that I would say, like, immediately something for you to think about. Speed across the circle. I think you can be much faster than what you've done here. I just think you're thinking about it a lot, which is okay. Now is the time to think about it, right? Every day, right? Be thinking about, can I go lower? Can I go faster? Whatever. And you know, maybe you guys can even get a stopwatch. See how fast you can get across the circle. Film it while you do it, right? And I would say, if you can get a big stick or something and just put it next to you and tape or Sharpie some lines on it so you can film it and see how much am I coming up and coming down, right? I want to stay within a couple of inches as I move across the circle, and how fast am I doing it? Can I kick back and explode back faster? That sort of thing. And then the second thing is really hips and trajectory, right? Because you're underutilizing your hips. I would spend a lot of time with the two of the four things that we talked about. Just gliding, just practicing kicking back across the circle or across the track or whatever, kicking back low and hard. And then the second thing is blocking with the hips. One thing you can do is if you can find at school or somewhere one of those really big traffic cones, you know, the big tall ones that are super heavy. One thing you can do is put it right between your legs and kind of grab the cone. You might not be able to grab it at the top with two hands. You might have to put one down in the middle, but really practice pulling your hips through first and throwing and flinging that cone as far as you can. And really you can do it with anything that's like long and skinny and heavy, if you can find something else. But you don't want to throw it with your arms. You want to throw it with your hips. So almost like let your arms hang. If you think about it, if I hold my arms out, right, just like this, and I turn my hips, which turns my body, and I just thrust my hips, see how my arms just follow through? If I do that, my arms can't help. Same thing with disc and shot. Like if I do this, that elbow's gonna follow, right? This is just about explosion up top, matching the explosion down low. So there's not a lot of hip action when you throw. You're throwing a lot with your upper body. And when you over-rotate your hips, like you did on that last throw, what ends up happening is when you come through, what ends up happening is the shot drops off the neck, like I saw when you didn't have it in your hands and you were just shadowing. And a lot of times that causes your brain to go, oh crap, I gotta let it go. And then you just push it out there real quick and you rush it, right? Instead of exploding right down the middle through the center in alignment. And what ends up happening is, so it's all like one big piece. So you're here, if you kick back out of alignment here, right? It doesn't look like much, but if I kick back here instead of to here, now when my hips open up, even if they open up right, they're gonna open up here in the left half of the circle. Does that make sense? And so then when I over open up, right, I'm like, ah, right? I've got to, like, one of the reasons why you might fall back instead of follow through is because your brain and your body are realizing even subconsciously, like, oh, I gotta let it go. I gotta get it out there, it's gonna be out. Does that make sense? And so you're like, oh, okay, it's in. Oh, wait, I didn't go all the way through. I'm back here. So really, speed and explosion across the circle in a straight line. A lot of times I have my kids walk over to the cracks on the sidewalk and kick back along the crack. Like as far and fast as I can go, okay, is this foot still on the line? If it's not, why isn't it? Okay, let's practice and get it that way. So I get 6, 7, 8 in a row on the line, straight back, lower and faster every time. And then here, right, you can do the drill with the cone. Again, not using my arms. My arms are down here. My hips are gonna throw it, my arms are gonna follow. You're gonna throw the cone 50 feet. You're gonna throw the cone 6 feet. But it's your hips that are gonna throw it 6 feet. Does that make sense? Same thing when you practice putting, my hips first, and then up. But even when you were throwing here, that chest started to dip down a little bit more. But like those last couple, you gotta throw proud. You gotta have that back straight, chest out. Same thing here, back straight, chest out. Thrust those hips up. Again, it's almost gotta feel like you've got a belt on and somebody's got a rope attached to it and they yank it up so that when you come up out of the circle, my waist is right? And it might even be good for you to practice and scratch. Like step through. You know, I hate to practice something you're not allowed to do, but like demystify that. Like, all right, I'm not going to hell. It's okay. You know, like, so get that in your brain of like your hips pushing you through, and then I'm just placing the shot, right? I'm just popping it up on top of that palm tree. Does that make sense? So those would be the things that I would practice. I would glide on like a straight line. Then I would shadow through the whole thing a couple times, try to put it together, block a little bit to like warm up, make sure I'm using my hips. Then do the whole thing, 6, 8, 10 times, no more than 12. Otherwise you're gonna get tired and then your technique is gonna falter. And the last thing you wanna do is be practicing the wrong thing. And then if I was doing disc at the same time, if at some point you wanna talk about that and do that, then I would do 6 or 8 of shot and then go over to disc and do that and not do more than 6, 8, 10 at a whack. Okay? Good? Question?
Good so far.
All right. If you have any, yeah, it was a lot.